So this is going to continue moving up in your general vicinity. It may move very close to Clinton. It may move very close to that location as well as it drifts off to the north and east. Right now it's near the town of Globe, moving north and east at about 35 miles per hour. Clinton Lake, a lot of people go out there. Probably a lot of you are out there for the holiday. You are in the path of this tornado warning. So we're going to continue to monitor that. Joe, we're going to send it back over to you, get the latest from what's happening from your perspective if you have any updates. Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago I visited with the elementary kids out towards Baldwin Elementary School, and I wanted to give the folks down towards Baldwin City just a little bit of a notice that this circulation, what we're watching so carefully, is located about 13 miles or so, give or take maybe a mile or so, 13 miles towards the west of Baldwin City, and it looks like it's going to pass towards the northwest, or just barely towards the northwest of Baldwin City.
Let's go ahead and send it to Joe on radar so he can point that out. Okay. We're going to get that, Joe. We're going to get to that in just a second. You want to come over here and point it out while I get some updates? We're trying to get some stuff squared away over there. God love technology. We're having a little freezing moment. So let's have you, if you don't mind.
I'm going to scooch behind you.
Yeah, and I'm going to get some updates over here while you manage that on this radar.
Okay, so, you know, for Kansas City, and I think a lot of folks in the heart of Kansas City now, they're seeing the colors start to change on the maps and stuff like that. And for Kansas City Metro right this second, we're still in okay shape. But again, the thing that we're concerned about is the track of the storm. So there are a couple of little circulations. This one that is just towards the south of Clinton doesn't seem to be as big of an issue, but this one right along 56, all right, that's the main issue that we're watching. So here's Clinton, there's Eudora over here, and I mentioned that we were talking about this Baldwin City area. Baldwin City is going to be right over there to the far right behind Carly. Okay, and that little circulation, there's 56. So that circulation is right about here. All right, now we haven't had any verification that there's a tornado on the ground associated with this at this very second, but the circulation does have us concerned, and that's why we continue to have this tornado warning that's in effect for the Douglas County area. And if we could get through about the next half hour or so without any other reports, that's a great thing. But we're just out of an abundance of caution on this. We want our friends in Douglas County to really take this storm seriously. Now, it kind of is out there in the middle, I don't want to say of nowhere.
But a couple towns, maybe a couple of the smaller towns that maybe we're not picking up on our little track. Lone Star is one of the towns just south of Clinton Lake, as you mentioned. Also, Baldwin City, a little bit further to the east. Globe is one of the cities just north of Globe where that rotation is currently located. That's in between really Overbrook and Baldwin City, almost right where that arrow is pointed, right here. So we're going to keep monitoring that particular part because it has had broad circulation, and we're going to continue to monitor that location. That's where the Weather Service is monitoring. They said the strongest rotation that they're seeing right now is just 3 miles northwest of Globe, which is just outside northeast of Overbrook, where you have those oranges and greens kind of right next to each other. And it's still radar indicated. One thing we haven't mentioned, Joe, also the potential for some larger hail. They've had over an inch and a half in diameter hail possible, and I think they've had some reports of hail with this as well. So that's kind of a secondary thing that we haven't really touched on too much, is the tornado threat, but also the hail threat.
And in addition to the flooding rain threat.
Oh my goodness, up north.
It's been really bad up north, and this storm, you know how incredibly saturated everything is, and as we were watching from Michelle's feed a little while ago, she was driving through a driving rainstorm with low visibilities, and you kind of see it right there. I'm going to scooch out of the way and get back to the other weather wall.
Okay, we got you back up there.
But again, let's just kind of keep an eye, especially for you folks from Wakarusa to west of Baldwin City. All right, I realize that there's not a lot going on there, but there's definitely some inflow. You can kind of see how the inflow kind of comes up 59, as Gary's kind of pointing out to you, comes up 59 and then wraps in to this supercell thunderstorm. So this is another area that we will need to watch, and that's not terribly far away from the Lawrence area. And Gary's kind of highlighting that for you. I'll let you take care of that, and I'll get to the other side.
Yeah, and I was going to also mention, as you're walking over there, here's a little bit of good news. As we watch Michelle Bogowith's live stream, she's about to get out underneath the rain shield associated with this thunderstorm tornado warning. Franklin County, they just dropped out of the tornado warning. So Douglas County still under a tornado warning until 6:30. Franklin County has been cleared from the tornado warning now, so that is certainly some good news for the folks in Franklin County. But if there is a tornado, it was going to be located just outside of Overbrook and Globe, and it would be moving off to the north and east at 35 miles per hour. But as you just mentioned, Joe, we're also keeping an eye on areas near K10. Near the intersection of 10 and 59, you're okay right now, but just to the west of that intersection, along K10, lifting up north, that would eventually take you all the way up to the Interstate 70 corridor. That's an area of concern as well. Despite not really seeing any rotation on radar, it's always concerning when you see that much inflow into a thunderstorm. And as I look at a couple other scans, yeah, it still looks like we have some pretty significant rotation moving near the town of Lawrence. So if you're in Lawrence, Kansas right now, you are under a tornado warning. This goes until 6:30, so you have another 27 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue this warning. And this is the location right here, just to the south of Clinton Lake, just to the south of Clinton, and it's moving off to the north and the east at about 35 miles per hour. This is going to put it into the town of Lawrence at roughly 6:30, unless that timeline has changed. But about 6:30 is when we're anticipating it into the town of Lawrence. So you have 27 minutes if you're watching right now in Lawrence. And we're looking live at Michelle's feed. And it looks, you know, she's out ahead of the thunderstorm now, the tornado warning. And she's going to keep up to date on if she sees any rotation. So far, if there is rotation, it's going to be in the heart of this storm, and it's going to be rain wrap likely. Joe.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of give you a little broader view of this whole thing. And again, this tornado warning continues in effect for areas, let's just call it from near Lawrence to just northwest of Baldwin City over towards the Overbrook area. Although in all honesty, unless that's something new developing down there, I think Overbrook, you're in the clear right now in terms of any tornadic possibilities. You folks towards Clinton, south of Lawrence, if you live between, let's just say, if you live between Lawrence and Baldwin City, you know, I've got concerns about how this storm is moving off towards your north and east at around 35 miles an hour. So again, if you live near the Clinton area, or rather near the Lawrence area, and we're talking about Douglas County over on the Kansas side for those of you not as familiar with this area. But if you live around the Lawrence area into Douglas County down 59, around the lake as well, that's the area that we're kind of most concerned about in terms of any potential, and again, this is potential, tornadic formation. And we haven't, thankfully, seen anything, you know, crazy with this as of yet. I would suspect that we should, if we're going to see something here happen within the next maybe 15 minutes or so. There are a ton of chasers on this, a ton of spotters keeping an eye on this cell. Meteorologist Michelle Bogowitz is watching this as well. And so far, it looks like the circulation just hasn't been able to tighten up just enough. But again, we're just trying to be overly cautious and be very much on the safe side, because the atmosphere is very conducive for tornadoes right now. And I was telling a colleague of mine a little while ago that, you know, in terms of how the day has played out, there were some similarities to what happened here in Kansas City back in early May of 2003, and we all remember that. That was our biggest tornado in the KC metro area in decades around here. So this is the area that we're most concerned about. And again, for you folks in Lawrence, 6:30, Tongi by about 6:51 if it holds together. And let's bring in Bonner Springs now at around 7:04. Let's go ahead and get down to Bogo. She is tracking the storm, and Bogo, bring us up to date.
Hey Joe, I want to bring you up to date right now. Here is a live look, and we are looking north. So we are looking at the backside of this system. We came out of the heavy downpours of rain. Again, it is likely, as you guys have mentioned, that this is wrapped in the rain, making it extremely difficult to detect. I know that signature on the radar that we are looking at looks very, very strong. It looks dark and ominous, and off to the left side of your screen where you can definitely see the heavy rain pouring down, the far left side of where that heavy rain is where we are watching inside of that system. So we are getting ready to pull up onto 59, and we are going to be taking 59 north towards the Lawrence area. We are going to be coming up on the backside of this system. We have a lot of storm chasers, unfortunately, ahead of us, so we can only move so quickly here. But as soon as we get to 59 and start tracking this thing off to the north, we will hopefully have a much, much better view and picture for you. I want to also say, once we did pull out of Overbrook, we actually did see a little bit of tree damage. There's not a ton of trees out there. A lot of it is just very flat farmlands. So we did see some larger tree limbs down, and that looks and appeared to be right where the potential rotation did cross over 56. So I do want to mention that. Guys, we're going to jump on 59 and I'll get back to you here very shortly. Carly.
All right, Michelle, I'm going to get us up to speed on this tornado-warned storm. Right now, this storm, as you can see, is a proficient rainmaker. It's likely a rain-wrapped tornado, which is the most difficult kind for us as forecasters because we can see the circulation on the velocity scans. It's evident as anything as it moves very, very close to the town of Lone Star, Kansas. This is going to be south of Clinton Lake. This is going to be just south and west of the town of Lawrence. If you are in Lawrence right now, the sirens are going off. This tornado warning, it goes until 6:30, and it is going to be moving extremely close. This is 59 right here that goes just south of Lawrence. We have K10 that's going to be moving very close to the intersection of K10 and 59. And as it gets closer to the town of Lawrence, we're probably going to zoom in a little bit more and get some more street names. But right now, it's in a little bit of a more rural area, moving near the town of Lone Star or very close to the town of Lone Star. And the circulation is definitely... It's actually looking, in my opinion, a lot stronger in the last few scans. In fact, we can very easily see a couplet now on radar. So it's very likely that we have a tornado rain-wrapped right now. This tornado warning continues, and it's this location right here, just to the west of 59, just to the south of K10. For those of you who are familiar with the town of Lawrence, you know where K10 is. It's on the south side of the city, and this, as it continues moving off to the north and east, is going to move very close to Wakarusa in about 10 minutes or so. So if you are in Wakarusa, if you are in Lawrence, Kansas, please take cover. This storm is going to be very close to your vicinity in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And as it continues to move off to the north and east, it would likely slide very close to or possibly even in between Lawrence and Eudora, assuming it maintains its strength and assuming it maintains this rotation. But this is the location that we're tracking right now, just south of Clinton Lake, just to the west of 59, just to the south of K10. If you are in Lone Star, if you are in Lawrence, if you're in Wakarusa, this is the location that has the tornado warning at the moment. So right now, 59, which Michelle's about to go north on, not dealing with a lot of rain, but she's about to get slammed with rain again. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on Douglas County specifically, the only location right now with a tornado warning. But as Joe mentioned, we have so many other big rainmakers and severe thunderstorm warnings going on across northern parts of Missouri. Flash flood emergencies up there. I'm hearing from some of my contacts in Bethany. They're sending me pictures of golf ball size hail from some of these storms up there. So we're monitoring storms all over the place, but the one that has the most likely tornado, okay, actually now I'm getting confirmation. Emergency management is reporting a tornado on the ground south of Lone Star. This is exactly where we were just focusing on the radar velocity scan. So this is the location right here, guys, just to the west of 59, a confirmed tornado, plain as day on our velocity scans, where we have this little couplet of oranges and greens and yellows right next to each other. That's indicating wrapping up, rotation, inflow and outflow on our radar scans, which is where we look for tornadoes. So we have a tornado confirmed on the ground from emergency managers. This is moving north and east. If you are in Wakarusa, please get into your safe spot. If you are in Lawrence, Kansas, get into your safe spot. This is going to cross over 59 and K10 within the next 10 minutes or so, putting it into the town of Lawrence around 6:24. We've accelerated the time a little bit here, guys. 6:24, 6:20 for Wakarusa. Joe, this tornado warning continues now until 7 o'clock. They've just extended it now until 7 o'clock for Douglas County, and this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. So let's get over to you for more.
Okay, so this warning for Douglas County now has been extended out, as Carly mentioned, up until now 7 o'clock. Here are some additional cities that are in the path of this storm, and depending on how this couplet kind of evolves over the next about 15 to 20 minutes or so, is going to be into the Lawrence vicinity, especially from essentially near downtown or towards the south, especially with that little area of rotation and confirmed tornado, according to emergency management. So 6:22, okay, is the time for the Lawrence area to be affected by this tornado. And as it continues to move off towards the east, northeast, or actually northeast at around 35 miles an hour, that would be heading towards Linwood and Tonganoxie. Let's put Tonganoxie on, you know, the map here, even though we're kind of crossing over the border into Jefferson County. But just want to give Tongi and Bonner Springs a heads up as well. This could be due towards you by very close to 7 o'clock. Likewise, Edwardsville. Likewise, the Lansing area. This is the circulation right there that we're most concerned about. Meteorologist Michelle Bogowith is chasing this storm. Why don't we go ahead and quickly see if we could get to her and give us a little bit of an update as far as what she's seeing and where she is. Bogo, take it away.
Hey, Joe. Okay, so we hit 59. We are headed northbound. Looking at the overpasses right now, there are a ton of storm spotters off. We have eyes on this thing. I think Jerry and I both can give you visual confirmation. I know that it's rain wrapped, but it does look to be a pretty decent sized tornado on the ground. It is very, very difficult to see with all of the rain. It is, you're looking at the screen right now, it is off to the left side. So we're watching the inflow coming in. The winds are still pretty strong here as we move and get ready to intercept it here. People need to get off this highway right now. 59 highway, if you have a loved one traveling on 59 highway, they need to get off because this thing is about to cross the highway just north of where our location is. It is extremely, extremely imperative that people get off this highway right now. We're going to have eyes on this thing as it comes in front of us. Guys, I want to make sure that you are tracking this back at the station and warning people in the path of this storm because this does look to and is apparently going to be a pretty sizable tornado on the ground just out to the left of our screen. What we're going to do, we're going to come up a little closer to this overpass right at the top here, staying behind this system most importantly.
They need to pan
but we're going to get a little bit closer, get eyes on it, look to the left side of your screen right now.
All right. Michelle, if you can hear me.
I know it's going to be a little difficult because it is a little hilly off to the left side of the screen, but.
Michelle, if you can hear me, give us an update on ETA on where you are located again, if you don't mind, please. Was that just a power flash?
Sure, we are on 59 highway. Give me a second here, guys. I'm just trying to juggle a bunch of things.
You're okay. You're okay. Are you getting closer to K10?
We are getting closer to K10. We are getting ready to come up on North 1000 Road on my phone. I'm just looking. North 1000 Road is right up here.
Okay. Michelle, if you guys can pan
so we can get
the current camera spot on just a little to the right. Pan it just a little bit to the right for me, dear, if you don't mind. There is a confirmed.
We only have the side camera. Let us get into position here.
All right.
Let us get into position, guys.
You guys, Michelle, while you're doing that and getting yourself in a new position, I want to bring up people up to speed with this. Gary, I'm going to have you give us the latest on the velocity scan right now. Guys, this is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado that is on the ground. This is going to be crossing over 59 highway. It is going to be moving just near the road. This is in 1000 Road near 59, the intersection of 59, just south of K10.
We got the tornado.
Get it back. Okay, thank you. This is what we're tracking right now, a large confirmed tornado. Michelle, you may need to go south, my dear.
Right next to that 1000 road right there.
Michelle, you need to get south. Michelle, you need to get south,
she's at.
Please, if you can. That is a giant
we need to get south, Jerry.
confirmed
Jerry,
tornado on the ground.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Okay. We're going to get back to Michelle.
Okay, so we'll let Michelle reposition herself.
Yes, this is the problem.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring the folks in Lawrence up to date because this storm is going to be tracking into especially the southern part of Lawrence. From downtown Lawrence southward, I want you guys to go ahead and get in your safe spot if you haven't taken cover yet. No doubt about it, this is the real deal. All right, real deal tornado on the ground doing damage from what I understand. And this is going to affect from near downtown Lawrence southward, especially into the south side of the Lawrence area. Let's get back out to Michelle. Bogo, take it.
Go.
All right, guys, it literally just passed right in front of us. Again, we are in 59, just to the south of 1000, North 1000 Road, and that is just before K10. This is obviously going to be moving to the northeast, as you had mentioned. So folks in Lawrence need to take shelter immediately. Now that we are seeing that lift just to our north, we are going to slowly, emergency managers are starting to get back on the roads and head north to follow behind this. We are going to slowly do that now that we have cleared. It literally just passed right over the top of us, guys.
Okay, Michelle, please stay safe out there.
All right, so this system, the circulation, this tornado is heading directly towards the Indian Haskell University.
Where I zoomed in right there, that's where Michelle's at. She's just south of that 1000 road right there. And so that's where you see all the multicolor on the one that Carly's on. That's on weather too.
The inflow and outflow. Michelle is right here.
So that's where she was at right here. And then, so here's where the
tornado crossed.
That's where the tornado as it's crossing. And so with the recent scan, and that's how quickly the scans are going.
Yeah,
so,
these scans are confirming a tornado on the ground. I am getting confirmation. If you're in Douglas County right now, and if you're in the town of Eudora, we want to put a path on this. Eudora, I have eyeballs on this storm in Eudora. You have about 20 minutes for this tornado to get to you. We're going to also, on the side of our screen right here, have Michelle Bogowith's feed up because she is tracking this large confirmed tornado on the ground. They are continuing the tornado warning until 7 o'clock. This is a destructive tornado. There is reports of destruction with this as it moved near Pleasant Grove. It is moving north and east at 30 miles per hour. We're going to start zooming in on some of the cities here in and around Wakarusa. K10, one of the more notable roads that you're going to know as this tornado crosses over K10 in the intersection of K10 and 59. We're also going to continue to keep an eye on it as it moves just to the south side of Lawrence and also in and around Eudora. Gary, I'm going to go ahead and have you put a track on it here, bud, because this is moving off to the northeast around 30. And I want to show, besides Wakarusa, Lawrence is literally right up here underneath my banner. So this is going to be moving through Wakarusa, through the south side of Lawrence. Eudora is going to be off to the east of it, and perhaps it slides just in between Eudora and Lawrence. But if you're in Eudora right now, get into your safe spot. If you're in Lawrence, Kansas, take your phone or your computer with you. We will live stream this on our Facebook, on our website, and on our Fox 4 app. So please have all modes of communication possible because this tornado is confirmed. It is on the ground. We had visuals of it as it was crossing over 59 from meteorologist Michelle Bogowith. She is on this storm right now, and the tornado warning goes until 7 o'clock. You're looking at the video in the side of your screen. The tornado is moving just south and east of Lawrence, and I'm looking right now from the Weather Service chat. Let's see here. Tornado emergency now for those because of the tornado that is confirmed on the ground. And as it pushes off to the north and east, we may have to zoom out a little bit, Gary, to get a little bit more of a better perspective from cities. But this is K10, guys. Here's the town of Wakarusa. This is 59. If you're familiar with Douglas County and you're in Lawrence, Wakarusa, Eudora, you need to pay attention to this. Joe, you may have some updates from a few more cities coming in the path beyond Wakarusa and Lawrence because we want to give people as much notice as they can as this tornado on the ground moves in their direction.
Let's bring Johnson County and Leavenworth County into things now on this, and the scan is just updated.
Okay.
So the folks now in Johnson County as well as Leavenworth County are now under a tornado warning, and this is going to go up until about 7:30 or so, 7:45 or 7:15, 7:30. Other additional storms are up there across northern Missouri. Again, here's the brand new information. This would be for the southern portion of Leavenworth County, the far northwestern portion of Johnson County, and we continue to have our warning in effect for really most of northeastern portions of Douglas County. So these are metro counties now that are under a tornado warning. Southern portions of Leavenworth County, northwestern Johnson County, northeastern parts of the, okay, what was that, Rob?
Can you back up to see that it came like literally right
Michelle
through
has damage. Let's go ahead and get out to Michelle.
Okay. Hey.
Michelle, go for it.
Go, Michelle.
Guys, I want to let you know, we just turned on East 1000 Highway. Do you see all the debris and damage? There are big, big trees down. We are currently, again, on North 1000 Road. We are heading east towards Sibleyville. So we're going to stay just behind this. But as you can see, there is a lot of debris laying all over the roadways right now. There were some pretty massive tree branches down. We're going to continue heading east. I know we're going to be coming into a lot of rain here, so I am going to send it back to you guys. But if we do see anything else, I will be sure to let our awesome producers know. We're going to head north on East 1500 Road.
Okay.
Just before Sibleyville to kind of come in on the backside of this tornado.
Awesome. Great position to be in, Michelle. You don't want to get up on K10 because you would be right in the path of this tornado. A confirmed tornado, guys, on the ground right now. We want to bring you up to speed that the county's expanding our tornado warning. It continues now for Johnson County. For those of you in southern Leavenworth County, we also have a tornado warning for those of you in Douglas County. These are all on the Kansas side. This is a confirmed large tornado on the ground with damage being reported now just outside of Lone Star, just outside of Pleasant Grove, near the town of Lawrence. We are talking about a tornado on the ground near Wakarusa. We're going to have to check with the emergency managers, maybe John and Dominique. You can check with Wakarusa, see if we've got anything coming in because of circulation. And the tornado passed very, very close to the town of Wakarusa. It is going to be moving off to the north and the east. Eudora, it may move very close to you. Get into your safe spot. I am not clearing Eudora, but it is going to move very close to Lawrence, very close to Eudora. It is going to continue moving up to the town of Linwood. If you're in Linwood, we're talking about K10, K32, and all the real estate in between these two interstate or these two state roads. We have to take cover if you are in the path of this tornado. There is a confirmed tornado on the ground moving north and east at 35 miles per hour. So Eudora, K10, K32, and all the real estate in between. This does include those of you in Lawrence because of what's happening right here. It is plain as day on our velocity scan that there is circulation, a confirmed tornado, a large, violent confirmed tornado producing damage now, moving through portions of Douglas County. This tornado warning goes until 7 o'clock for Douglas County. Here's some more paths, cities in the path of this tornado. Linwood, 644. Get into your safe spot. You have 20 minutes to get yourself down there before this would be moving in. DeSoto, 650, Bonner Springs, Edwardsville, a little bit after 7 o'clock, and assuming this holds together, it would continue moving up into the west side of the Kansas City metro. So we're going to continue to monitor this very closely. For those who are in the path of this tornado, we're going to be live streaming on our weather app. We're going to be live streaming on Facebook. We are going to also be live streaming on our website, so you can take us with you to your safe spot. Don't sit around and watch your TV. Get to your safe spot. If you have already had the threat pass, if you're in Wakarusa, Lone Star, down towards Overbrook, those are locations where the threat has already passed. If you have damage photos, we would love for you to send those to us when it is safe for you, or just to get the reports to us, because we are trying to get confirmation to the Weather Service and for us to pass along that information. But for those of you in the path of this tornado, I'm going to give one more update on the warning, and then I'm going to send it over to you, Joe. In addition, we have large hail possibly over 1.5 inches in diameter, but this is the spot, guys, right along K10. If you are watching right now between K10 and K32, south and east of Lawrence, this is right along 23rd Street. For those of you in Lawrence, this rotation right along and near 23rd Street is the spot along K10 or just north of K10 near 23rd Street in Lawrence. For those of you who are familiar with Lawrence, you know where this is, and this is going to be moving off to the north and east, approaching Eudora.
Carly, I'm seeing damage indicators now coming from Lawrence. Damage indicators coming from Lawrence.
Okay.
So one of the ways that Doppler radar can work is it enables us to see what is being thrown into the air sometimes with tornadic circulations. It doesn't let us see exactly what it is, but it shows indications that there's debris in the air. And I am seeing indications now that it's moved through the south part of Lawrence of debris. So we know a damaging tornado is on the ground, okay, on the south side, if not maybe south side of the Lawrence, Kansas area. This is just about now ready to cross over the border and move into southern portions of Leavenworth County. All right, this would be probably south of Tonganoxie as long as it continues to move in this general direction. Okay, it will pass south of Tonganoxie, but I want you folks in Tonganoxie, you folks are just kind of barely on this tornado warning, but you could kind of tell down along Highway 24, especially along K32 and K10, okay, this is where that little circulation is located, and it continues to move off towards the north and east.
People in KCK are hearing sirens now.
Okay. John Holt has some more information.
Lawrence police now report the deputies of Douglas County are having trouble seeing the tornado due to the heavy rain, but reports of damage and overturned vehicles are coming in rapidly to dispatch in Lawrence. So that'd be on that south side.
No,
okay, so that's the concern. And again, when we see all these various things line up on Doppler radar, and I'm going to call this particular product up here in just a second.
If they want to take a look, that'd be on Max 2. That's the one
Max
Carly's.
Okay, so let's go over to
up.
Carly because she'll show you
This is where that debris is going to be.
Okay.
As I zoom in just a little bit, and this is the product that Joe was mentioning.
What's concerning to me is, do you see the little wrap up or the rotation? This is going to be right along 15th Street, 23rd Street, 31st Street on the south side of Lawrence, just outside of Wakarusa. John Holt, you're very familiar with Lawrence, so you might be able to walk us through a couple spots of what's near 31st Street, 23rd Street, 15th Street in Lawrence.
31st and K10 and up, basically Iowa, would be.
Is that near the high school?
No, it would be a lot of businesses, retail, large box type shopping.
This is
in that area.
This is
some residential and apartments as well.
This is what's concerning to me. Watch how this radar scan, and this is what we call the correlation coefficient. We look at this a lot of times when you hear us talking about a debris ball on radar. When we know there's a tornado on the ground, we look for a couple different things. We look at the velocity scans, we look for a hook on radar, and we look at this particular correlation coefficient. This indicates to us, when you see this right here, that indicates to us there is something launched up in the air that is getting picked up on radar. This indicates to us that there is something flying around in the sky, and it indicates to us that there is damage. This is what we call a debris ball. This is something very concerning, and it's just south and east of Lawrence. It moved over the town of Wakarusa and impacted southern portions of Lawrence, southeastern Lawrence, and it's continuing now to move just along K10. It's going to be moving up towards K32. Maybe we could flip over now to the velocity scan. Joe, do you have anything new right now? Because I'm looking right now that there's a tornado 4 miles east of Lawrence, 3 miles west of Eudora. It is moving to the north and east at 35 miles per hour. This is a confirmed dangerous tornado. Also, Rob, let me know if we get Michelle's video back up and running. Okay, she's having some issues with the weather and the rain, trying to get her stuff going. But as far as what's happening right now, confirmed tornado on the ground.
And Dave DeMarco, if you could hear us, Dave DeMarco is also tracking these cells, and it seems like it's going to be getting close to you when we last touched base with Dave about an hour ago. Now, a couple of things about this particular product and what we call it is the correlation coefficient, very complicated. But what it enables us to do is find debris that's being lofted into the atmosphere. All right, we believe that somewhere in that mess, in that rain area, is the tornado. All right, no doubt about that. What you're going to notice, though, is as this tornado gets away from a city, all right, that damage indicator stuff may actually kind of disappear or weaken. Doesn't mean that the tornado is no longer on the ground, as we could kind of get some visuals with Michelle. It probably still is on the ground.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so, but as it moves away from the city, there's less debris, there's less stuff for it to damage, okay? So this may indeed weaken, but that does not mean you take it any lighter, especially for you folks in the Linwood area. This is heading towards you in Linwood at about 6:40. Let's send it back over to Carly.
Oh,
Oh, Gary, I'm sorry.
You know what,
No,
let's take Gary on camera 3.
One thing I was going to mention was when we talk about that correlation coefficient, even as we're just mentioning things that are, we show that debris ball, but we also talked about, John was mentioning the damage in Lawrence, and as if you put that back up on full screen, weather 2, I'd like to just show you what that looks like in Lawrence. I mean, look how far Lawrence is from the actual ball itself that shows up, you know, and it's 3 miles away, but we're still running into that area. So that what I want you to take from this is you get closer to Linwood, don't think that, you know, this is going to avoid you completely if that circle right here isn't going in your area as it works its way toward Linwood. So I'm talking about areas along 70 still may run into some damage. And so areas to the north, just because we're kind of tracking this for you right here, doesn't mean you're avoiding that storm completely. The damage is extending further away from that. It really is what we're going to look at specifically as Joe continues to show that correlation coefficient. He gets back over there.
We have some pictures of damage right now just south of Lawrence over 59 Highway. We are talking about extensive structural damage to a home. Rob, if you can hear me, I just retweeted. This was a picture from Chris Neal, and Dominique sent this one to us. It was just south of Lawrence over Highway 59. So that's going to be that location that we just showed you. It's confirming the damage on the ground. But I want to bring you up to speed while we're getting that pulled up. Gary, let's go ahead, show radar. Let's get a new track on this because we do have this tornado warning continuing until 7 o'clock. And right now, I don't have any additional updates as far as visuals on it. That's the tornado warning, or that's the damage that I'm showing you right now. This is near Highway 59 on the south side of Lawrence. That is a home that has been, I don't want to say destroy, I mean, it's got significant structural damage. That's not good right now. And there is an observed tornado and a destructive confirmed tornado on the ground 2 miles west of Eudora, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. This warning, it goes until 7 o'clock. It's for those of you in Douglas County. We're also going to be talking about the tornado warning. I know a lot of you have been texting us asking about what's going on in Johnson County because the sirens are going off in Olathe. And we want to show you the track of this tornado because it's going to be moving very close to Linwood. I'm assuming if you're on the west side of Olathe, west of K7, south of K10, you're in the polygon for this tornado warning. But the main threat, the main area that we're watching is this part right here, which in the last couple scans, by the way, Joe and Gary, if you've noticed, is starting to have a little notch on the south side of it. So it's possible this is a tornado that continues to wrap up. And for those who are just joining us, Michelle Bogowith has been out chasing this particular storm that is warned, and her video is showing up on the side of our screen. So this tornado, confirmed tornado on the ground, is moving just outside of Eudora. It is approaching the town of Linwood, K32. Please, if you know people who are about to get on the road, do not let them drive right now. We've had reports of cars overturned in and around Lawrence. So those of you in the path of this storm, Bonner Springs, just before 7 o'clock, this will be rolling into your city. For those of you, and I'm going to move this out of the way, some people were saying they couldn't quite see their city. So Linwood, 639, that's where the next city that's going to be in the path of this. This is going to be right across the river, just to the west of 222nd Street, which is also known as Main Street, there at the intersection, just to the, near the Douglas, what is that, the Douglas County line right there. Just north of Eudora. This is where the circulation is located right now. Sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings here. So Eudora, K10, we're looking at the main street that goes through just to the north of Eudora. This is where the largest area of circulation is right now. So if you are in Eudora, please take cover. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground, a violent tornado that has had history of producing damage, and it's continuing to move just to the north and east at 35 miles per hour. And I'm seeing if we just got some updated information. Joe?
Yeah, a couple of things, and I don't like any of them. I'm getting more indications of another debris ball forming
I'm seeing it as well.
the storm moves just towards the north of Eudora, northern portions of Eudora, up right towards the county line. We have now been placed a good part of the metro. I believe this may be the first time since 2003, I don't remember, of a tornado emergency. This is like the highest of the high levels of tornado alerts. And this tornado emergency, very, very rare. All right, we don't see these here in Kansas City. I don't want to say ever, because we did back in the early 2000s. But that's the last time I remember a tornado emergency for the heart of Kansas City. This will include Wyandotte County, the southeast portion of Leavenworth County, and the far northwestern portion of Johnson County. Carly.
We have visual on a tornado. This is from the county, the emergency manager in Johnson County. A spotter at K10 has a visual of the tornado, and they say it's a half-mile wide.
Okay, so we have...
This is a violent tornado on the ground. Take cover. Tornado warning until 7 o'clock. Joe.
Okay, so we, as Carly mentioned, half a mile wide at least, and these things are always very, very difficult to judge, but there is no doubt I am seeing a destructive tornado heading towards Linwood. Linwood, if you could hear me, I want you as low to the ground as you can. Get into a basement. This is a life
I got water, I'm good, thank you.
Challenging tornado, if you will. This could absolutely be something very, very bad for the community of Linwood. I want you in your basement. I want you in a bathroom. If you're in your basement, I want you under something sturdy. If you have a desk, a pool table, something like that, get under that. No doubt about that. In Linwood, please do this. It may save your life, okay, over the next half hour or so. This tornado is coming your way. It's going to be there probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes, and this is a life-threatening type of an event, something that we don't ever see here in Kansas City except for what we saw about 15, 16 years ago back in May of 2003. All right, this is a damaging tornado heading towards Linwood, and that's why we have this tornado emergency now in effect out towards Wyandotte County, southern portions of Leavenworth County, and the far northern reaches of Johnson County. Now, to put some of your minds at ease, if you're heading out of downtown Kansas City and you live south and east of I-35, this does not affect you, okay? But if you live north and west of I-35, particularly for the far northern portion of Johnson County right along the border, okay, I want you to make sure you take cover from this storm. Let's get over to Carly.
All right, Joe, we have a bunch of spotters on this storm, and we're getting some reports in the chat room now that near 214th Street and Linwood, there might be another tornado starting. This may be a multi-vortex tornado near Linwood and just to the south and west. And I'm looking at the velocity scans. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground, guys. If you are in Linwood right now, as Joe just mentioned, the tornado is moving into your city. You have to take cover immediately. I want to put a track on this, though, because the tornado warning goes until 7:15, and it's expanding now. The warning has been expanded now into portions of Johnson County, Leavenworth County, Wyandotte counties. This goes until 7:15. This is now including the west side of the Kansas City metro. So if you are in the path of this tornado, here's a city or two that's in the way. Linwood, I hope you're in your safe spot. I hope you're live streaming us right now. I just really hope get into the lowest level of your home, the most interior portion of your location, because there is a confirmed tornado, plain as day, on the velocity scan, this couplet that we're looking at here, moving through the town of Linwood. Bonner Springs, you're the next one in the path of this tornado, and there's a lot of real estate in between these two cities, so please know if you live somewhere in between Linwood and Bonner Springs, you too need to take cover. This is a confirmed large tornado on the ground, moving towards Edwardsville around 7 o'clock, Lake Quivira around 7:04, Shawnee about 7:09 right now. And I'm looking at the chat room, and there again, it's okay. We are watching on Scout Camera to see if we can get any visuals as well. But this tornado continues to move very, very close to the town of Linwood, and we're also looking on Scout cameras. We have meteorologist Michelle Bogowith on this tornado. This is I-70 right now, looking where you can clearly see the lightning off in the distance. And here we go, K10 and Evening Star, a confirmed tornado on the ground. So we have eyes on this storm with a history of producing a very large, very destructive tornado. This is moving out of Douglas County into Leavenworth counties. It is going to be impacting those of you along K32. This storm, I hope, Joe, people are not driving on I-70 right now. I hope they're not driving on K32. This is a confirmed tornado crossing over K32, moving just to the south of I-70, and it's racing off to the north and east, putting it into the town of Linwood right now, moving into Bonner Springs after that. Edwardsville, you're next. This tornado warning until 7:15. Joe, do you have some new information for us?
Okay, so I wanted to kind of bring you up to date as far as how much debris is being lifted up because of this tornado. And again, we've had various reports. I've seen various reports of a half a mile wide, 1 mile wide. For those of you who are not familiar with this part of the country, that is very unusual for Kansas City. All right, this is something, okay. Let's go ahead and get down to Michelle, and then I'll bring you more up to date. Michelle, take it.
Hey, Joe, so we just passed through Eudora. Eudora out of power. There were leaves literally flying through the air and some debris that we did see. And just ahead of us, check this out, guys. We're literally just coming up on some very large tree branches down here in the middle of the road on 222nd. The tornado literally is in front of us, and that's the one that you've been talking about, that circulation, very defined, very well defined, large tornado possible headed towards Linwood. So we are headed up to the north on 222nd, and
it crossed right here.
It crossed right here, guys. There's power poles. Look at the power poles. Can you guys see that? They are tilted. That one is down. They are tilted. The tornado had to have come across this area because things are definitely down. It's very flat here. There's not a whole lot of trees. It's mostly flat farmland. So it definitely passed right through this area. We've got heavy rain moving through the area. The winds are extremely strong, blowing across this region.
Power lines. There's no power poles.
The power lines are literally all down. I'm looking off to the side of the roadways here. All the power poles down. Some of them snapped. These winds are very, very intense here at the surface level. We're going to continue to come in behind the system. We would love to get out ahead of the system if possible, but just make sure that you have our feed up and going because in case we do run into some more of this debris. Carly, Joe, back to you guys.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Please stay and remain safe. Let's get over to Carly with some additional information. Carly.
We are getting reports that the tornado is currently moving through Linwood, which we can clearly see on our velocity scan, but we're getting reports in Tonganoxie right now of debris falling from the sky. There's debris falling from the sky in Tonganoxie right now, indicating to us just how crazy the lift is with this. What's that, Rob? Okay, scout camera's coming. The lift with this, pushing the debris up to Tonganoxie, downstream from Lawrence and Wakarusa, where that tornado moved through. There is confirmed reports of debris in Lawrence, overturned vehicles. And what's that?
So we've got the Kansas
west
City
on I-70.
Scout system hooked up into here, and we're looking out
look at the left
towards
side of the screen right there,
westbound, if memory, or actually we're looking eastbound, I believe. No, westbound, obviously. Okay, let's go back to Michelle.
Please
Michelle.
be careful. Hey guys, I want to show you this real quick. Out to the back, there's a car that is down. It rolled over into the ditch here. This is the area where the tornado did pass through, and I want to go ahead and give you my side camera. If you can see, we've been traveling for about a half of a mile, okay, just to kind of give you an idea, out to the west of the car. It is very difficult to see all of those trees shaved down. All of the power poles for the last half mile have been snapped, so I just want to kind of give you an idea of how big this thing could potentially be. Those people are A-okay. Jerry just went down to check on them and make sure that they were okay after their truck did run off the roadways, guys. So this is a very serious, very powerful tornado. These guys need some help. I'm going to send it back to you.
No, don't do that.
Hold on.
222nd Road.
222nd Road.
Just south of
Alexander.
There's
Can we get some help?
in a truck.
Can we get some help here? There's people trapped in a truck, guys.
So
Michelle,
what was that?
Please stay safe. 222nd and Alexander, we have people trapped in a truck. The vehicle likely hit as that tornado moved over their location.
Okay, so here's where we are, and this is a life-threatening situation now for southern portions of Leavenworth County. All right, this is as serious as we could possibly be. Okay, this is not one of those tornadoes may or may not be on the ground. There is a massive tornado still on the ground to our knowledge, very close, if not through the Linwood area. I have seen a lot of destruction out of Lawrence. I have seen cars overturned in Lawrence. All right, that tells me that this is a tornado that may be packing winds of at least 150 miles an hour. All right, so this is a very, very serious situation. Okay, what was that, Rob? Okay, so we're looking now southwest from the Kansas Toll Plaza area, and the tornado is going to be somewhere in
That is the tornado.
that whole mess.
I think that is
All right,
the
I
tornado.
think it's rain wrapped, but it's somewhere within that mass of blackness that you see.
Joe, you can
off in
kind
the
of see a
distance.
little
Can you see it a little bit clearer than I
You
can?
can see a little lightness in between that mass. So it's
maybe
gotta,
just to the left of that lightness?
Yeah, I think that left side where it's a little bit darker is that confirmed tornado on the ground.
Okay, I was wondering, can we put that, Rob, can we put that, Lindsay, that picture behind Carly, all right, because I want Carly to point out where the tornado would be.
Okay, so it's going to be, there's debris, by the way, a debris ball lofted over K32 just outside of Linwood. And as we track this,
you can see the power flash. I just saw a power flash.
Yeah, you can see power flashes. There you go, guys. See the power flashes right here. That's where we expected the tornado to be on the ground. I'm thinking it's right here is the one side of the tornado, Joe. Right here is the other side of the tornado. This is a large, dangerous, destructive tornado on the ground. We are seeing power flashes, meaning it is moving through an area that has power lines. The power lines probably getting ripped out of the ground, if not other things. This is moving right towards our camera, and we can see, gosh, that is a large, violent tornado on the ground. We are tracking this. This is our one and only warning, guys, and yeah, it's a big one. So where exactly, Rob, remind me again, are we here looking on our scout camera? Okay, so this is the Toll Plaza in Bonner Springs. We are looking south and west, which, by the way, that tornado warning is moving up towards Bonner Springs. And that is a confirmed large tornado on the ground. We've seen power flashes. Likely this is the one side of the large wedge tornado on the ground. And then it's hard to tell because it is rain wrapped. But Joe, it kind of looks like it's a little bit lighter right there. So perhaps this is the area where the tornado is on the ground, and it is moving off to the north and east at 35 miles per hour. A tornado emergency now, as you mentioned, for the first time in over a decade, if not ever. At least, I think, for Kansas City. This is, or not Kansas City, excuse me, I don't want to misspeak here. For parts of the metro, just west of the metro, tornado warning continues now until 7 p.m. And I'm going to see if they've extended it a little bit here. Let's see. Johnson County, Leavenworth County, Wyandotte County until 7:15. It was near Linwood or DeSoto, moving northeast at 35. Let's go ahead. Joe, send it over to you. Maybe we can get a track on it. We have eyeballs on it. We're going to keep this up. Maybe we can split screen this so we can keep an eye on it from the scout camera and also talk to you about what's happening with the track. Okay, so this particular radar product, again, enhances the damage. All right, shows us the different varieties of stuff. They could be pieces of houses, could be insulation, could be just, in general, destruction. All right, it gets lofted into the atmosphere and the radar beam hits it, bounces back a signal very strong. So when you see this type of scenario right there, right along K32, this tells us that we've got still a destructive tornado on the ground, and you could see it off towards my side. All right, it's going to be off in the distance, and if anything, it may become more apparent as that destructive tornado gets closer to the camera out towards the Bonner Springs area, out towards the Kansas Turnpike Plaza. Now, here's Bonner Springs. All right, this storm, this tornado, okay, life-threatening tornado, is heading towards the Bonner Springs area by 6:57. We're going to hope deep down and say a very small prayer that this passes just north of Bonner Springs. But by the same token, that also puts other people at risk north of Bonner Springs. So again, still getting these indications of stuff flying through the air. Okay. On this, on the right side of your screen, the inflow into the tornado, and then you can see, we've seen.
Let's get over to Carly. She's pointing it out rather nicely. There you go.
Yeah, look, Gary and I have been talking right here on the right side of your screen. We've seen all these clouds kind of streaming in. This is the inflow into the tornado, and Gary, you can kind of point out on that side where the other side of the tornado is. Maybe right where those tree tree is.
Yeah, it's tough to see because of the glare here.
I think it's coming right at the camera, if I'm being completely honest.
If you put weather 2 up in here, I've got it on one side. I've got the smaller picture of this here.
Perfect.
But this is where this is at, and Bonner Springs, the camera, should be right on the other side here. So that's right along 32.
K32,
and you're going to continue to see that moving off. And I'll go move the other side of this, but right behind, and I think it's just right about here, is where that debris area is moving in. You can see that inflow here, at least under that side.
Well, and it's hard to see because we're so close, but it almost looks like it's getting a little darker right there. It leads me to believe that we might have maybe
unfortunately, I see a car driving right there. There's the power flashes.
Okay. Wow, they have not stopped traffic. Our producer Rob is telling us. Let me see if I have some updates right now from some of the chat rooms. Okay, let's see here. We have some warnings or some reports of damage now just south of Lawrence, and we knew that. This storm is moving off to the northeast at 35. This includes Johnson County, Leavenworth County, Wyandotte County. Johnson County also, maybe Joe in a second here can give everyone in Johnson County who's on the south side maybe a little peace of mind. But this is what we're watching right now. This is the scout camera west or just outside of Bonner Springs looking down to the south and west, and it's very apparent on our velocity scans as well as what we're looking at for a debris ball and the correlation coefficient. This is just a mess. There is debris lofted in the air, falling in Tonganoxie. We have confirmed reports of debris falling in Tonganoxie from this system that's not even near Tonganoxie, by the way. So this is a dangerous, large,
there's the other side of it too,
tornado.
as they move the camera.
Okay, you can see them moving the camera here.
That's the other side of the inflow.
Keep in mind, we don't have control of the scout cameras. We're at the mercy of what they're doing.
It's about 7 miles away. This camera should be about 7 miles away.
Yeah, this is, Joe, could you maybe, Joe, work us through it? And I know there's a lot of people nervous in Johnson County right now. The warnings are going, or the sirens are going off. Maybe give them a little peace of mind where they are.
All right, so let me start broad because this is the one storm. I mean, really, I wanted to just kind of take a broader view just to kind of point out that there's really nothing else at this second threatening any other area aside from this one area. Okay, so it's not as if there's stuff coming up or or stuff up across northern Missouri. I want to get to Michelle because Michelle's been providing us ground truth about this situation. Here's Michelle.
Oh my God. Oh God.
Oh my gosh, guys. We are coming into Linwood off of 32. There is extensive damage. There are complete roofs ripped off of homes. Some things are in just complete destruction.
They need
help. Linwood needs help, guys. They really, really need some help. I just want you guys to know that this tornado, when we were surveying the damage coming through Eudora, once we got north of Eudora, I mean, this thing is at least 3/4 of a mile, if not close to a mile wide. There is houses completely gone. Completely gone.
This is EF4. This is EF4 at least.
Yeah, this, as Jerry is just saying right now, this could potentially be EF4 damage, guys. This is bad. This is really, really bad.
Okay.
This house is completely leveled. I'm going to send it back to you. Jerry's going to just check real quick.
We need help.
Linwood needs help, guys. Linwood needs a lot of help. This town is just completely demolished.
All right, so for those folks, and I'm sure the folks in Leavenworth County, Northern Douglas County, Northern Johnson County, they're going to be responding towards that area. But by the same token, we can't forget where the tornado is now and where that tornado is going, because to our knowledge, we still have a very dangerous situation unfolding, despite the fact that we've seen damage. In Lawrence, we've seen Linwood really hit hard over the last half hour, or really the last about 15 minutes or so. We still have this very strong indication of a damaging tornado on the ground in the southern portion of Leavenworth County. This would be I-70 right there. All right, so if you know somebody traveling westbound along I-70, if they're leaving, okay, so we've got that same scout camera this should be very, very close now to the Kansas Turnpike Plaza, or Toll Plaza area, I should say.
First of all, I'm seeing
Bonner
a car
Springs
light.
Area.
That I just saw vehicle headlights. You can see it in the middle of your screen right there.
Yeah,
that's concerning.
That's concerning, and this is still very concerning to me. Again, we still have debris as an indicator being lofted into the air. At one point, when I measured how big this debris area was in the air, it was 3 miles from point to point. All right, I mean, that's as bad as it gets. This is something that we would typically show you in Oklahoma, in the Oklahoma City area. You know how bad those tornadoes are. For those of you in southern Lawrence or southern Leavenworth County and soon into Wyandotte County, I want you to think like that. Think this is about as bad as it could possibly get. And that's why I want you to be especially in your safe area. Don't mess with this. Don't go outside. Don't shoot the video. We don't care. We don't want it. All right? Because this tornado is probably wrapped up in rain. Okay? I don't want that thing to get on top of you while you might think you might have an extra couple of seconds to get into a safe place. Let's get over to Carly.
Well, the tornado's about to cross I-70, so that's always problematic when it's not even 7 o'clock at night, and we're talking about a tornado that's going to be crossing. Okay, this is I-70 and K7, our producer Rob doing a great job. One thing I want to do, Rob, maybe we can take this full screen, or if we can, just put it up instead of Weather 2 behind me, because there's something I want to show people, and that is you can see the inflow coming into that area that's very clearly showing a lot of rain. It's hard to see it, but I presume that the tornado is just wrapped in rain, and that is a tornado on the ground ravaging areas outside of Linwood, moving into Bonner Springs. I want to put a track on this because if you're in Bonner Springs right now, I am seeing no signs of weakening with this tornado. As I look at reflectivity on radar scans as well, this is a tornado on the ground, a confirmed tornado on the ground, and we're already getting some reports of some structural damage outside of Bonner Springs. So let's see latest here. Tornado on the ground. For those of you in Wyandotte County, Leavenworth County, you are in the path of this specifically. Let's go ahead and go back to Weather 2. Meteorologist Joe Loria, meteorologist Gary Frank, meteorologist Michelle Bogowith out chasing. We have been tracking this cell. This is the one that has reports of damage, a history of destructive damage on the south side of Lawrence. just in between Lawrence and Eudora. Linwood took a direct hit. The town of Linwood took a direct hit. Bonner Springs, you are next. This is the debris that we're looking at right along K32 that's lofted up in the air. But the tornado itself, if we want to switch it over to the velocity scan so we can show where the actual tornado is located, Gary, that tornado is crossing over I-70 as we speak, just outside of K7, K32, and I-70. This is going to be near the K7, I-70 interchange. The tornado is moving north now of K32, about to cross over the interstate. I-70, about to have a tornado cross over I-70 right now. If we put a track on this, it's going to put it into Bonner Springs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Children's Mercy, I mean, that's right there.
Okay, so a couple of things are going on here. And again, I want to just point out to you, and Gary was just pointing out this track for you. Bonner Springs, I mean, get down, all right? Get into your basement. Please get into your basement. I am not kidding.